The gavel cracked against the oak table like a gunshot, silencing the room, but it was Liam's whisper that shattered me. "You promised you'd have my back, Caden. Was that just another vote for you?" Rain hammered the auditorium roof above us, drowning out the gasps from the council girls, their eyes wide as saucers under the fluorescent buzz. I stood there, heart slamming against my ribs, realizing in that frozen second that respect wasn't something you earned once. It was a fragile bridge you could burn with a single lie. Our high school in Portland, Oregon, was the kind of place where the evergreens loomed like judgmental elders outside the windows, and the student council room smelled perpetually of stale coffee and desperation. Rain City, they called it, but it felt more like Drown City some days, especially when the drama piled up thicker than the fog rolling in from the Willamette. I was Caden Riley, senior class president, the golden boy with the Letterman jacket and the easy smile that got me elected on a platform of unity through chaos. Straight-A student, quarterback backup, the guy who could charm a bake sale out of grandma's. But beneath the polish, I was just a kid from a split family, piecing together a future scholarship like it was a puzzle with half the pieces missing. Liam Hargrove showed up mid-semester, transferred from some podunk town in Idaho, all sharp angles and quiet intensity. He was the only other guy who volunteered for student council, assistant role, unpaid grunt work mostly, but he dove in like it was his personal crusade. The girls cooed over him at first. "Oh, Liam, you're so organized." But I saw the walls he built, the way he'd duck his head when the jocks in the hall slung their casual barbs, calling him pretty boy with that edge that wasn't quite a joke. He was gay. I figured that out quick, not from gossip, but from the flicker in his eyes when he'd linger too long on the posters of indie bands with brooding frontmen. In our school, that made him a target, even if no one said it outright. Portland was progressive on paper, but high school, it was a petri dish for every unspoken prejudice. I didn't mean to gain his respect. Hell, I barely noticed him those first weeks. Council meetings were a whirlwind. Budget fights over prom lights, petitions for more vegan options in the cafeteria, which I secretly hated but championed anyway. Liam handled the spreadsheets, the endless filing, his laptop screen glowing like a shield. One Tuesday, though, everything shifted. We were prepping for the fall election assembly, posters everywhere, the air thick with marker fumes. Jake Harlan, our vice president, all-American douche with a trust fund and a grudge, sauntered in late, smirking as he eyed Liam's stack of flyers. "These look like crap, Hargrove," Jake drawled, snatching one and crumpling it. "What? Did you design him with your fairy dust?" The girls tittered nervously, but Liam just froze, his knuckles whitening on the table edge. I could have let it slide. Jake was my buddy from football, the kind of guy who got away with murder because his dad donated to the booster club. But something snapped in me that day. Maybe it was the echo of my mom's voice from our last fight, her slurring about how I'd never stand up for anyone but myself. Or maybe it was the way Liam's shoulders slumped, like he was bracing for the hit. "Give it back, Jake," I said, voice low but steady. He laughed, tossing the paper at Liam's feet. I stepped forward, picked it up myself, smoothed it out, and handed it to him. "These are solid work. Better than your half-assed slogans." The room went pin-drop quiet. Jake's face twisted, red as the apples in the cafeteria line, but he backed off with a muttered "whatever, man." Liam looked up at me then, those hazel eyes wide, not with pity or surprise, but something sharper, gratitude laced with wariness, like I'd handed him a loaded gun instead of a flyer. From there, it snowballed. We'd linger after meetings, him showing me shortcuts in Excel that made budgeting a breeze, me cracking dumb jokes about Portland's hipster coffee shops to coax a smile. "You know you're the only reason I don't quit this circus," I'd say, and he'd roll his eyes but lean in closer, our knees brushing under the table. It wasn't flirting, not at first. I told myself it was bromance, the kind you see in those John Hughes movies my sister obsessed over. But late nights texting about council drama turned into shares about real stuff. My parents' divorce, the way my dad bailed for Seattle and left me holding the emotional baggage. His coming-out story, whispered over burnt microwave popcorn in the empty library, how his evangelical folks in Idaho shipped him off like damaged goods. "You're braver than me, Liam," I admitted one night, the rain pattering against the library windows like impatient fingers. We were sprawled on the carpet, backs against the stacks, surrounded by dusty yearbooks. I mean, I can't even tell my mom I skipped practice once without her flipping. He tilted his head, that half-smile tugging his lips. Brave? Nah. Surviving, maybe. But you stood up today. For real. Not for show. His voice softened, and in the dim glow of his phone screen, I saw the respect settle in, solid as the Douglas firs outside. It hit me then, how rare that was. Someone seeing past the president facade to the scared kid underneath. My chest tightened, a pull I'd never felt with girls at dances. All awkward slow songs and chaste cheek kisses. This was different, electric, like the storm clouds gathering over the Columbia Gorge. We fell into a rhythm, him and me against the world, or at least against the council's petty wars. The girls noticed, ribbing us gently. You two are like an old married couple. Liam would blush, ducking behind his hair, but I'd laugh it off, even as my pulse raced. Deep down, I knew what it meant. I'd caught myself staring at the curve of his neck when he laughed, wondering what it would be like to trace it with my fingers. Panic set in after that, denial the American way. I dated Sarah from debate club for 2 weeks. All forced hand-holding and movie nights where my mind wandered to Liam's quiet laugh. He saw through it, of course. Having fun playing straight, Caden? He texted once, after I ghosted our study session. I didn't reply. Betrayal number 1, small but stinging. The real fracture came with the winter formal vote. Council was split, traditional theme versus something inclusive, like a rainbow renaissance nod to queer history. Liam pushed for it quietly, his passion lighting him up like the Christmas lights strung across campus. It's not about politics, he argued in meeting, voice steady despite the side eyes. It's about making everyone feel seen. Jake, predictably, rallied against it, whispering to me in the hall. Come on, bro. Don't let the ferry turn this into a pride parade. Voters want normal. I nodded, gut twisting, because Jake's crowd was my ticket to that Oregon State scholarship. Coaches, boosters, the whole machine. I flipped the vote. In the end, I sided with Jake, citing budget concerns as my out. The room erupted, girls protesting, Liam staring at me like I'd slapped him. Unity, right? He said later, cornering me by the lockers. Rain slicking the pavement outside. His eyes were stormy, hurt carving lines around them. Or is that just your campaign slogan? I mumbled excuses, scholarship pressure, not wanting to rock the boat. But it rang hollow even to me. He walked away, shoulders rigid, and I felt the bridge crack under my feet. Guilt gnawed at me through December, a relentless drizzle that matched the weather. I'd see him in the halls, head down, avoiding my gaze, and it hollowed me out. Christmas break was hell. Family dinners with my mom prying about that nice Sarah. While I stared at old texts from Liam, his words blurring with unshed tears. New Year's Eve, alone in my room with fireworks popping over the river. I cracked. I drove to his aunt's place on the east side, the wipers slapping rhythmically against the downpour. He answered the door in a faded flannel, hair damp from a shower, surprise flickering across his face. Caden? What the? I screwed up? I blurted, rain dripping from my jacket onto the welcome mat. Big time. The vote. It wasn't about the money. It was me being a coward, afraid of what it means if I stand with you. For real. He crossed his arms, but didn't shut the door. And what does it mean then? I swallowed hard, the words tumbling out like the floodwaters from the storm drains. It means I like you, Liam. More than a friend. More than respect. I think I've been falling for you since that day with the flyers, and it scares the hell out of me because I'm not sure who I am without the mask. The admission hung there, raw and American dream fragile, the kind of confession that could build a man or break him. He searched my face, rain pooling at our feet, then pulled me inside. We talked till dawn about fear, about the hypocrisy of a town that preached tolerance but whispered behind backs. No grand gestures, just honesty. His hand brushing mine as we sat on the sagging couch, the TV flickering with some old rom-com neither of us watched. When the sky lightened to pearl gray, he leaned in, our foreheads touching. Respect isn't accidental, Caden. It's chosen. Every day. Our lips met then, soft and tentative, tasting of salt and second chances. Not fireworks, but a quiet ignition, the kind that warms you through the endless rain. Spring brought the thaw, literally and otherwise. I came out to my mom over Easter brunch, pancakes going cold as I stammered it out. She hugged me tight, tears in her eyes, whispering, "I just want you happy, kiddo. That's all." "Jake?" He cornered me after practice, fists balled. "You're throwing it all away for him?" I met his glare. "Nah, I'm finally picking up what matters." He walked away, friendship severed, but the weight lifted. Liam and I rebuilt the bridge plank by plank. We led the council into that rainbow Renaissance formal anyway. Postponed but bolder. Balloons in every color. Kids dancing without a care. And for once, no side eyes. Graduation came under a rare blue sky, caps sailing like confetti over the football field. As we stood there, diplomas in hand, his pinky hooked mine in the crowd. Subtle, but enough. "We made it," he murmured, voice thick with the future stretching out like the open road to the coast. Looking back, that accidental respect was the spark. It taught me that love isn't a vote or a scholarship. It's the guts to stand in the storm, even when it soaks you to the bone. In America, we chase dreams like they're gold. But the real treasure is the people who see you, rain and all, and choose to stay. Liam did. And in choosing him, I found myself.